Hello and welcome to the Rotary Time Show, a public service program presented by Rotary District 7610, Virginia. On our program, we speak with Rotarians and community leaders to discuss how Rotary International builds partnerships to support local, national, and world communities. I am your host, past District Governor Patricia Borowski from the Rotary Club at Bailey's Crossroads, Virginia. The Rotary Foundation is a nonprofit corporation that supports the service efforts of Rotary International to achieve world understanding and peace through humanitarian, educational, and cultural programs. It is supported solely by voluntary contributions. In districts around the country, there are appointed area foundation advisors whose role it is to increase the awareness of Rotary grants and their impact on local, national, and world communities. Joining me today remotely is Rotarian Pauline Rosenstrin, who is District 7610 Area 9 Foundation Advisor for Rotary Year 22-23. Welcome, AFA Polly, to the Rotary Time Show.
Thank you, Pat.
Oh, it's great to have you. Well, as you know, we always start out wanting to know about our Rotarian. And so if you could give me some of your background in terms of, you know, how you got to Rotary and the path that led you there.
Well, actually, my father was a Rotarian.
Oh, wow.
But that was back in the day when only men were Rotarians,
Yeah.
at least in our little town. So I had kind of forgotten about that. But when I was, starting my business, people kept telling me, oh, you've got to join Rotary. You've got to join Rotary. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'll look into it. I had one person from Dulles and one person from Vienna. Well, that wasn't too convenient for me. So I looked around and I found a club right in my neighborhood, Bailey's Crossroads. So I thought I would visit it. I went, and lo and behold, they invited me back. So I've been a Rotarian ever since.
Well, we've, as a fellow club person in the same club, we really enjoy you. Now, what was your professional background?
My professional background was I was an English teacher who moved to this area and was looking for a job, and I was not successful in finding one, so I was just sent by an employment agency to a brokerage firm. I had a degree in English. And I never would have thought of going into that field,
Wow.
but I found that I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was exciting. I became a bond trader, and then later on I became a financial advisor and a certified financial planner. So it's been a great ride and a lot of fun, and I enjoy helping people.
Yes, and I could see that. I can see how the professional and service of Rotary kind of melds together. I know that you do some specialized programs for specifically women in terms of their financial literacy. So that I think it's a great program.
Yes, when I started out, I found that a lot of women had either relied on their husbands to do their finances and investing,
Right.
or they were single women who just never thought much about it. Maybe they had successful careers, but as far as saving for retirement, etc., they really didn't have a good grip on that. I found widows who felt really lost when they lost their husbands, or divorcees. So I really wanted to educate women about at least knowing what they should be doing, and even if they relied on someone else, to be involved in their finances and to take care of themselves financially.
Right, and that kind of leads me into your involvement in our club. And how did you get interested in volunteering at the district level?
Well, I was just asked, so I thought, Well, I've been contributing $85 a month to the Rotary Foundation. I read the foundation newsletter. I really think a lot of the foundation and what it does. So I thought, well, let me take a look at this job. Somebody, Peter Anderson, asked me to be the area foundation advisor for Area 9. So I thought, well, I'm not sure I know that much about the foundation, but I can learn. So I think it's a great thing. So I'll give it a try.
Well, and thank you so, first of all, thank you so much for stepping forward and doing it. And secondly, it is an evolving process. The foundation, no matter where you enter, we all have to help each other learn and keep up. Now, Area 9, what is that comprised of?
That's comprised of 5 clubs. We've got Arlington, Bailey's Crossroads, Crystal City, Fairfax, and Rosalind Fort Myers.
Right.
So
And
those 5 clubs.
right, and that's a real mixture of different sizes and everything else.
Mhm.
How do you outreach to the clubs? What are some of the things you do either with the clubs directly, but more importantly with the Club Rotary Foundation chairs?
Well, the Club Rotary Foundation chair is disseminating the information to the club, and I give them their monthly reports, keep them apprised of how much their clubs are contributing, if they put their goals in, how close are they to their goals, and they also get reports of how close people are to different levels of Paul Harris Fellowship and Society. And they keep me aware of what they're doing to build funds, fundraisers, which a lot of times I share with other clubs, what other clubs in our area are doing, and share with them maybe a little article from the foundation newsletter, and help them answer any questions that they might have.
Right, and have you seen sort of a difference this year compared, say, to last year, or how have the clubs reacted coming out of the pandemic?
Yeah, I know. Well, I think some clubs lost some members, and I know some clubs have had a hard time meeting their goals, but they've they've all been successful. I think every one of them met their goals last year, which was really great. And they come up with fundraisers and ideas. So I think they're being encouraged to continue contributing and get the newer members contributing. That's an important thing, educating the newer members to
Right.
contribute to the Rotary Foundation.
And I want to point out that your area, all your clubs have their goals, foundation goals in the Goal Center. And, the importance of that is really if you don't set a goal, then nothing happens really. And at least a goal gives you something to shoot at. In terms of educating new members, and I think there needs to also be a re-education of members, because I think that's one thing that sort of fell apart over the pandemic period. What have you found to be the information in the areas we really need to help members understand the foundation better?
Yeah, I think one thing is just letting them know what the foundation actually does, and the projects all over the world. I think people really like to know what their money's going for. And, with the Rotary Foundation being a 4-star charity navigator, most of the money does go to the projects and very little to overhead. So just educating them on where their money actually goes, I think that is one of the biggest helpers to getting people to give.
Yes, and by providing them those sort of chart informations monthly,
Mm.
they can really see that. And we did put, and we'll be publishing a summary of last year's giving and where it went in terms of the projects within the district, and helping them with that. What is kind of the most oftenly asked questions that you get about the foundation?
I guess a lot of it is, how do I contribute? A lot of them still don't know that they can do it online. A lot of them do ask, where is the money going? Those are probably the two biggest ones that I
Right.
get from individuals.
Right. And then how do you respond to that? What kind of information do you provide them? What kind of discussion do you have with them?
Well, on the how to contribute, I tell them that they can go to myrotary.org and do it right online, and I can help them set up an account if they don't already have it. And they can also do it through their foundation chair right there in their club.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as where their money goes, I think the foundation monthly newsletter is a great thing. I try to pick out some articles from there. The annual report from the foundation on the Rotary International website is also good. I usually give them that. And then there's some great little short videos on YouTube, about a minute and a half, that are really inspiring, that help them to see all over the world where their money goes, and the areas of concentration that we focus on, the 7 areas. Really, I think that gives them a good idea of what the Rotary values are and where their money's going.
Right. And with the 7 areas of focus and the projects that are out there to be inspired. Hold that thought, because we're going to take a short break and be right back and talk more with Area 9 Foundation Advisor Polly Rosenstrin. Please stay with us.
We've been here before, fighting the problems that fight back, because we see opportunities where others see obstacles. We're change makers and problem solvers, uniting over 1 million minds to address complex issues facing communities around the world, including yours. We're working together as partners and professionals, while making friendships that last a lifetime. We're Rotary, and there's no limit to what we can do.
Welcome back to Rotary Times. We are here speaking with Rotarian Polly Rosenstrin, District 7610 Area 9 Foundation Advisor for the Rotary year 22-23. So, Polly, we talked about the kinds of things that you share to develop an awareness of the foundation. And I want to have a discussion about how do we approach both members and clubs to help them understand kind of the steps to giving. I always tell the story about how I wanted to try to figure out how I was going to give $100, and I gave up a Starbucks, and then I thought, well, I give up all Starbucks, I'll have 1,000, and so that works. But how do we need to have that discussion with members in the clubs?
Well, just specifically, our club, Bailey's Crossroads, we're starting a little program where we're going to help give away some of our points, to help people get to different levels. And you, Pat, actually helped us hammer out the details, and we're going to start that soon for a couple of months for matching points. But just to encourage the new people and people who haven't given in a long time, just the very basic level of every Rotarian every year. Every member gives at least $25 to the Rotary Foundation. Many clubs do this, and I think it's possible for every club. It's just as educating the members that they really need to do it. And then encouraging them to go to the next level, to be a sustaining member, $100. a year. You can give $10 a month. I think that's very doable for most people.
Right.
And then giving the points to get somebody to the next level of Paul Harris Fellow. If Paul Harris Fellow is $200 away from the next level, we give them they give $100 and we give matching points for $100. Paul Harris Fellow is someone who's given $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation, and there are different levels. And then, of course, encouraging people to be a member of the Paul Harris Society, in which the member pledges to give $1,000 a year to the Rotary Foundation. And that is really a commitment. As long as they're able, of course.
Right.
And then also they can graduate to the major donor, which is given over $10,000 to the Rotary Foundation.
Right.
And we also have a legacy program where you can commit in your will to the Rotary Foundation. So there are lots of different ways to give, to start, and I think we just need to get the word out there.
Right, of the options, right. And,
yeah.
And the nice thing, I always point this out about the Rotary Foundation, and you made this point, as long as you are able to give, because sometimes we recognize things come up in people's lives and they have to maybe pull back from where they were for a while. Rotary keeps that information so that when you start back again, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from where you left off. And that's a great thing, because they value every contribution, and it is needed. That brings up really kind of the issue of planning for your Rotary legacy. We have, that's not for everybody, but certainly as you get more involved in the foundation, that's something that everybody should give some thought to. And planning that out and understanding how you can do that, I think is a great thing. And
yes, absolutely. I think we just need to put it in our brains, think about it, and get it done. It may not be something that everybody thinks about. So it's just making people aware that, this is something that we would really like for you to do.
Well, I really want to talk also, because this string has gone through your entire conversation, and that is, you clearly have had, even going back to being an English teacher, a culture of personal giving. I mean, you give of your time, you certainly give of your treasure. How do we begin to cultivate that? I know at least one thing is we do have to make it clear when we're recruiting people, there is that expectation. But, talk about that, and how do you communicate that with Rotarians?
Well, you gave me some suggestions about talking to people before they actually join. I think, in some clubs, we've been lax about doing that, about mentioning that. I guess people join Rotary for different reasons. Certainly, to get involved in service projects, I think that's a big draw to people. Some people might do it for networking, but just when we talk to new members, or potential new members, just letting them know, that about the Rotary Foundation, that we really are expected to give what little bit we can, if it's, a minimum amount, but we are expected to give to it, as well as give our time to these projects. And I think just encouraging that culture of giving is important to instill that in potential new members and when they become members.
Right, and a lot of conversation revolves around international projects for the Rotary Foundation, but 50% of that comes back into districts through district block grants, and clubs apply for district grants. Can you talk a little bit about that process, where that money comes back to the clubs?
Yes, when the money comes back to the club, they can use it for their district grants that they've applied for, and it can be used in the local community. So we can get money from the Rotary Foundation to, actually work in our local community. So not everything um, goes to places that we've never seen. So,
Right,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, what is some of your favorite projects in terms of the foundation that most interest you?
Well, uh, I think the Strategic Water Alliance is one, just providing clean water and sanitation. I know we've got a new one in Zambia, and these global projects are sustaining. It's not a one and done thing. It's, ongoing, year after year, partnering with other Rotary clubs around the country. That, and of course, our signature program, Polio Plus, eradicating polio in Africa and all over the world, which we've almost accomplished. I think that's, in fighting disease, malaria in Zambia, women and children, health and education. And now we've got the environment and we've had peace building. They're all so important. It's hard to pick just one, but I think locally we've been involved in the Strategic Water Alliance quite a bit. So
Right.
that may be the one that I'm most familiar with.
Right, and that one, we actually, our club, Bailey's Crossroads, was the first club to sign on with Dulles International, which was the club that actually created and founded that project, and it's just been terrific. The other thing I was going to ask about, oh, and then of course we have Michelo in our own club that
Right.
is developing for both dental needs and special education needs in the country of Iswazi in Africa. So that's great. I think your point here, because you identified so many for us, is that once they get to know it, they'll find their passion in this foundation. And what do you hear as, I guess, one of the biggest requests from you, either from the chairs or the members themselves, that we at the district can provide to support you and support the clubs better?
I think maybe just more information on the different projects. It's there and it's available, but I think just pointing it out to them. I don't know. We've got so many good materials. I think it's just letting them know it's available, and just pointing out where it is and how they can get their clubs more involved. Like those short videos, I think they're really great. And just keeping in touch with the way you all do with the foundation newsletter every month, and the foundation meetings with us, educating us, the AFAs, and
Right.
all the other people involved in the Rotary Foundation. I can't think of anything more specific, but
Well, I think your
just
point here is you've said we've got to make it the result of the foundation more alive to people so that they really, oh, I get it, and they can connect with that. I know one of our successful things we did last year, and I thank you for your efforts with your clubs, because all 5 of your clubs participated in the donations to the Ukraine Disaster Emergency Humanitarian Fund. And that was great. How did the clubs respond to that?
Well, I think it was a cause that people were really passionate about, and I probably did not take a whole lot of encouragement, but just, coming from the district, the fact that we could contribute to this, And, you know, being in the foundation newsletter, I think just all the clubs got behind it because it was really important to them and they really wanted to do it.
Well, Polly, if it's summing up, what is one message that you would like to deliver to everybody there for the foundation?
For the foundation, I would just like to thank you all for providing all the information that you do to us and supporting us on the AFA level, and then it trickles on down to the clubs. So without that support, you know, things would fall apart. We really need the education, we need the information. And we need to know where to go to find answers. So that, I think, thank you all for doing such a good job of organizing, disseminating the information, getting it out to us.
Okay. Well, Polly, thank you so much. Thank you for being a Rotarian. Thank you for what you do for the foundation. And thank you very much. Have a good holiday.
Thank you, Pat. You too.
Okay. Funding for this program is made possible by the generosity of past District Governor William Glenn Yarborough of Rotary District 7610, Virginia. For the Rotary Times program, I am your host, Rotarian, past District Governor Patricia Borowski from the Rotary Club at Bailey's Crossroads, Virginia. You are welcome to join us at a Rotary Club in your area for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a service project. You can find us. You can find a club near you by looking us up on the internet. Many clubs are hosting in-person, virtual, or some form of hybrid meeting. You only need to look up the details. Remember, our time is your time, and together it is time well spent. Please join us for our next program as we continue to celebrate Rotary's 117 years of service above self.